I would like to talk about the beginning when we 3 years ago met a farmer at the plains of Östergötland in the county Sweden. We were at his farm with the big idea to digitalize his farming procedures. But he immediately told us that he were not interested, not at all. But what he then said was a starting point for our entire business idea. He said that while he works the fields all summer, the bark beetle destroys the forest behind his back. And when we understood this need, we understood after a while that it was an AI that we needed to work with to solve this problem. And we understood also that this problem were not only Bosse's problem. This was some of the biggest corporates in Sweden's problem, and a global problem which in Germany is called the silent fire. I will show you a short clip from some of our latest inspections in nature reserves in Sweden, and this is what it could look like right now. On one occasion, when I came home from an inspection, forest inspection, I met the forest owner, Håkan. He came on his four-wheeler, and I rolled down my window and asked him if he had had some previous attacks from bark beetles in his forest. And he just started crying. He could not speak a single word. Swedish forest owners lost approximately 400 million euros during last year in timber value losses. In Germany and the Czech Republic, each lost 1.7 billion euro. 1.7 billion. And our goal for this ecotechnical innovation is to solve Bosse's problem and make it as simple as just pressing the button, scan my forest, to find out the forest's current condition and with predictions for the future conditions in their forest. What you can see here is the current method used in forestry today, and it's what we call the state-of-the-art boots-on, walk through the forest. And what me and Jacob and the rest of Arboair found out sweating through this forest the whole summer, trying to see the indicators from the ground about the bark beetle's attacks. I don't think that you can understand, and a lot of people can't really understand how hard it is to see this from the ground instead of from the sky. It took us more than 10 hours to inspect 80 hectares. 10 hours. And even then, a lot of trees were missed. Soon I will tell you about how fast we can do it, but wait for a little moment. The current COVID pandemic that we are in right now is horrible, and we feel for all the infected. It's a almost similar pattern that is happening in the forest today. The rate was, imagine if COVID death rate was almost 100%, and the incubation time were 6 weeks, and each sick individual infected 6 new others. This is what's happening today, as you saw in the video. 6 weeks in incubation time, each sick infected 6 more, and the death rate is about 100%. This summer we've been out helping to save some nature reserves in the south of Sweden, and we've been hired to do this in 50 nature reserves all over the country. And our algorithms are improving every day. So how quickly can we solve this problem then of 80 hectares? Well, we do it in 30 minutes, and no trees are missed. I tell you a story about when we helped out Kjell from Länsstyrelsen in the county Jönköping last month. The problem he had were that he had much of his nature reserves were dead due to bark beetle attacks. He said that some of these areas were impossible to walk through because there were large swamps. We flew over his area and delivered an analysis with the coordinates for each and every infected tree in his forest. And finally, we flew again, and we could see the pattern of how the disease was spreading through his forest. This is what we are capable of today. But we spend years to investigate the needs of our customers. And they tell us, for example, that some of them have drones, many drones in their business that they don't use in the best way possible. But we are trying to solve this problem. So Jacob, please, my friend, can you come and tell us a little bit about the techs and specs?
Thank you, Marcus. I will. It's now up to me to present how we help the forest industry in practice. We have developed a user case-based tool. This means that we have seen a need in the industry, and we are going to fix it. To do this, we have developed an analysis method. Our analysis is based on a convolutional neural network where we have annotated data to train our algorithms by ourselves. We have collected drone images and ground truth to make sure that we have a wide data distribution, all to make sure that we do not limit our computer vision algorithm. Arboair is a data analysis software as a service company with the core of analysis and visualization for the customer. Thereby, we are creating the basis for decision making. Our service is divided into 3 different parts. The first part is data collection, which is done by our subcontractors or the customers themselves. The decision-making part is done by forest owners or forest managers. And since we are not dependent on collecting data ourselves, we can easily sell the same analysis to several customers without a sweat. Meanwhile, we collect information about each customer's forest in our web portal, where the customers can see their historical progress over their property. We're actually right now developing a prediction model from this data to visualize the future spread of bark beetle attacks in the forest. And we see an enormous value in collecting and storing forest data in our platform. What if a forest owner knows what kind of trees stand in their forest? What if they can use these trees in the best possible way? What if the information can make sure that they can optimize say like carbon dioxide storage in the forest. They can use good timber for house making. They can use to compete with concrete. They can use timber of lower quality for mass and pulp, making sure that the resources is used as they are supposed to. By getting the information in the right time, forest owners can act in time to make the right decision. This can save them money. This can save timber to make sure that we use the timber in the best sustainable way. Our solution is an easy tool for forest managers and forest owners. After the data collection phase, images are uploaded to our portal, where our microservice analysis modules is triggered. Our customers get the results right in the web platform, and they have the possibility to download this and implement it in their own GIS system. We're also developing a tool that makes it possible for forest managers, forest owners, to integrate our solution into a field tool. This means that our customers can get their results right in the field on the fly. The steps for this is mapping an area on a map, pressing the button Scan My Forest, the drone takes off, and in a couple of minutes, half an hour, you get your results. Because the drone flies autonomously, the analysis is triggered directly, and the visualization shows you where the attacks are. As a forest owner and forest inspector, you're able to inspect and do the analysis by yourself to know that the quality of the analysis is good enough for you to take a decision on. As Marcus told you, we got a message from Kjell. He wanted to have his forest analyzed, and this image is that analysis. We were able to detect attacks from bark beetles in different stages in his nature reserve, so he could act in time. We have trained our model to make sure that it detects those attacks that needs to be handled. It maps them on the image, it maps them on the map to make sure that they can act in time and use the information. We made it easy for Kjell to look over his whole forest, seeing where the attacks were, and making his decision to prioritize field inventory easier and better. And now Marcus is going to tell you about who we are in Arboair and who the stars at Arboair is. Marcus.
Thank you, Jacob. These are the driven founders who are all experienced, prize-winning entrepreneurs who has put their previous companies to rest to merge together and change the forest industry. Björn here is deeply connected in the industry and provides deep insights and strategic advices for scaling our solution. And we have handpicked 4 engineers to scale this technology. Joseph, he was chosen because of his previous experience of running eco-innovation projects in America. Adnan was chosen because of his experience of IT architecture, and he's making sure that the servers are up and running at some of the biggest universities in Sweden every day. David is graduated as a GIS and AI engineer from Colorado and was chosen because of his previous work in GIS monitoring in the Rocky Mountains. Carol, he is our genius, who has an experience beyond the ordinary when it comes to AI and is passionate about the newest and sharpest technologies. What we're doing today and will continue to do is to solve Bosse's problem. the crying landowner Håkan's problem, and the biggest threat to the northern vital forests. Arboair wants to become an international player that creates conditions for sustainable forestry on a worldwide basis through digitalization of the forest industry, and thereby promoting a biological diversity for our generation and those to come. This is Arboair. I say this is Arboair. Thank you so much.